India also is growing very fast. If you see as on today, fifth largest economy, third largest purchasing power parity. Another 2 years time or 3 years time maximum, India will become third largest economy. Our Honorable Prime Minister is promoting and in a big way, not only one or two sectors, overall development of the country. Now growth rate is very impressive. Even people are projecting by 2028 incremental growth rate. Compared to any other country, India will be the highest. So with all these things, again, petrochemicals is growing at the rate of CAGR 7.3%. Even in India, it is growing better than that. So by even contributors for India, 6% to GDP, 5 million people employment, investments also 87 billion, and also by 2040, around 1 trillion industry. These are all very important notable points. As on today, we are having Visakhapatnam, HPCL or BPCL? HPCL. And also now BPCL is coming to Ramayanpatnam. That is what we are working with them. Already started around 90,000 crores. And if they bring partners, it will be better than that. So if you can see in all round, petrochemical is inevitable, but sustainability, how to go for innovation, and also creativity, downstream industries, how far we can reach. We have to balance long term, short term. Some people may have some doubts about green energy is coming. Is there any impact? According to me, there won't be much impact. Parallelly, either green energy and also petrochemical will move forward. That is what is showing as on today. So that is where, for me, personal gain is employment, contribution to my GSDP, and also economy will boost. That is the work we are doing now. Once port BPCL is coming, then port will be viable. Then that port will become Ramayanpatnam will become a township itself. We are having sea coast, nearly 1,000 kilometers. As on today, 5-6 good ports are there. Another 3 ports are under construction. Around 10 ports will come. For petrochemicals, compulsorily port is necessary. So, with the next one is not only BPCL, petrochemical, and also other industry will come. Then automatically the ecosystem will emerge. That is the biggest advantage we are going to gain. That's why we are promoting, not only promoting, but they are also showing interest. Andhra is the best. I am very happy. It is a win-win situation.
Well, yes, I would imagine that it should be a win-win situation, but making it a win-win situation will also mean that the government will perhaps be looking at incentivizing investment, incentivizing industry. Are you looking at any specific incentives, Mr. Naidu, to draw in investment into the petrochemical space?
Better my friend has to tell that.
For 5 minutes, but I think that lasted for about an hour, and I could get a clear kind of mentoring in that meeting more than anything else, that what we are thinking, that how the green energy can be utilized. And let me just try to put forward here the point is that now the energy we have studied in our school, that energy can be transformed from one form to the other form. So till now we had been only talking about how to convert the molecule into electron as far as the electricity is concerned. And now we are dreaming rather than we are putting action that how the electron can be converted into molecule.
Yes.
And that molecule will be kind of will be served as a kind of the petrochemical also. And the as you know very well that the foundation stone for the first hydrogen hub in the country was laid by Honorable PM, I think then with all kind of support and persistence from Honorable CM. About a month, not even a month back, then as recent as that, and this is going to be the first hydrogen hub. And this is going to be green chemicals coming out of that. And once you are having the chemical, the hydrocarbon, the beauty of the hydrocarbon is, and I'm sure that Mr. Sani will be able to explain far better because he's a chemical engineer, I'm still a mechanical engineer, that once you are...
a nice jugalbandi going for both of you to explain that to us.
So once you are having any of the this hydrocarbon chemical, you can convert that into that. So it's not only to be the crude which need to be imported and then converted into the kind of downstream into petrochemicals, other chemicals, etc. But maybe I think soon we will have our own self-reliance on that side, and the story is starting from the state of Andhra. And what started like as an IT story in the country, similarly I'm sure that the story of this green chemicals and the petrochemicals and then kind of actual transition and the net zero will be the path which will be really enabled by this kind of.
Well, that certainly is the hope. Yes, sir, you wanted to say something.
No, I'm very happy. This is where people are talking as on today green hydrogen. Then NTPC has come one step forward. Now nearly 1.87 lakh crores investment over a period of 7-8 years. And also Honorable PM has laid foundation and backward integration with green energy, that is solar, wind, pumped energy, everything. Here if you see, one is petrochemical, one is green energy downstream industries, green hydrogen. Andhra Pradesh is having 10 ports. For petrochemical, port is required. Green energy for export, again, port is required. So both are possible, as you rightly mentioned. Now there is a huge demand also we have to create. Green, hydrogen, all these things. Now that is the future. For sustainability, we have to bring reforms in, I can say, fuel or energy. Earlier we are all talking, and also downstream industries, so many chemicals, and also other areas also. Now, as you rightly mentioned, now people are talking about green energy, then how to go for hydrogen, ammonia, all these things. If necessary, how to convert again power. This is a very interesting situation is happening today now. Yes. For that, Andhra Pradesh is the leader. 30% of green energy, green hydrogen by 2030, Andhra Pradesh is going to add in the country. We are proud of it. 1/3 from Andhra Pradesh.
Well,
Minister Reddy, you were speaking earlier on about the challenges that you faced in the context of a newly formed state and trying to respond to the pandemic. Just talk to me then about how do we future-proof health systems against those kind of pandemics that you've spoken about from a governance perspective as well.
As I said earlier, governments will have to be focusing on two things. One is preventive care, and the other is curative care. And looking at this from the lens of how to improve this health care, one would have to be talking about availability, accessibility of health care, and also affordability of health care. All these three would have to be moving in line. In order to do that, from my state's perspective as to how we have been wanting to move forward is, we've taken every 2,000 people, every population with every village with 2,000 population as a unit, and we're coming up with village clinics.
Okay.
And then we're taking up every 30,000 population as a unit, and classifying it as mandal, and where we're coming up with 2 PHCs, primary health centers. These primary health centers would have 4 doctors, 2 of the doctors present in each of the PHC center, and they would be given an ambulance 104, and each of this doctor would be given their designated villages. So 5 villages or 4 villages, depending on the mandal size, to each of these doctors. And these doctors, every alternate day, would hop onto the ambulance and visit the village, and they would become the family doctor for that village. Very soon the doctors, because they've been designated only those 4 villages, so they would start to identify people by names, and they would use this village clinic as a hub. This village clinic primarily would be having an A&M, nursing graduate, mid-level health practitioner, and ASHA workers that we spoke about also reporting there. So that would take care of the preventive part. Now comes the curative part. The curative part would be dealing with the community, with district hospitals, the teaching hospitals, and the area hospitals and the teaching hospitals are going to play a very critical role there. So there we are coming up with every parliament taken as a unit. In order to ensure that there is equitable distribution of teaching hospitals. Because only when you establish teaching hospitals, you have postgraduate students actually coming up there. And only when you have postgraduate students doing their course there, and these teaching hospitals are connected to a hospital, a teaching hospital as well. So teaching college and teaching hospital together would become the tertiary care that we are looking for.
Mental health, when we speak of mental health and resilience, we say it's a connection between internal assets that a child has and external resources that a society provides. The pandemic really has shown us that that link has to be established. So to people who can make a difference for children from outside, UNICEF keeps advocating, but we have missed many opportunities to do that. And to you, Chief Minister Reddy, it's so wonderful to hear you speak about the healthcare system, but it will require persistence. Already this year, the central budget in India has a shrunken health budget. So how do we keep that going? Thank you.
Thank you.
But as she rightly said, we have constraint on the funds. But yes, this is something that we need to deal with it. And in spite of our difficulties, we're pushing through with it. And we've allocated a 3-year window where we're wanting to mobilize $2 billion, 16,000 crores into this whole setup. And we are heading in the right direction, and we will do it. And as far as the doctors are concerned, as you've just spoken, we do understand that this is a predicament that we need to deal with it. And that's exactly why we are trying to open up more medical colleges. We're coming up, the state had 11 teaching colleges, medical colleges, till our regime had come in. Now we are actually opening up 16 medical colleges. So covering taking every parliament as a unit, so that there is uniformity in distribution. And a teaching hospital and a medical college together would provide for postgraduate students to come in and provide for the healthcare. So.
From an industry point of view, what we can do and will be doing is of course to be able to scale medicines. I think to your point on children here, there are beginning to be regulatory opportunities, even though markets might be small, to be able to get a good IP protection, etc. All of those are important elements, I think, of doing what you're doing. But it's encouraging to see the number of countries and large countries that are beginning to go down the road of reasonable healthcare.
Okay.
As she rightly pointed out, this is a major concern. In fact, to address this, the country as such had, under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, had launched a program by name Ayushman Bharat. It's a more or less a combination of, it's more like an insurance part where the state governments are also involved in settling the claims. The funds come from central government, but it deals with 1,000 procedures or so. That is not sufficient, it's inadequate. So in the state of Andhra Pradesh, we have widened that scope, and we have come up with our own insurance scheme. It's called YSR Arogyashri scheme. I named it after my father because that's the kind of priority that I give to that scheme. So I just want it to be remembered, and I want to do a good job out of it. So what we have done is we've scaled the number of procedures to 2,446. From 1,000 what the central government supports, we had increased that to 2,446 procedures. And practically, we have distributed cards to 1.44 crore houses. And we've increased the limit for the eligibility of this card to income limit of 5 lakhs per annum. So anybody whose income is less than 5 lakhs per annum is eligible for this card. And 1.44 crores out of the total households of approximately 1.5 to 1.53 crores cards that households that we have, 1.44 crore cards are covered under this scheme. Okay. And the last 3 years, we've helped almost 25 lakh people get treatment free of cost here.